Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Muller here. We have a very powerful hurricane out here, Lee. Category 4. It literally jumped from 1 to 4 within less than a day period. This is insane. This storm is on its way to become a Category 5. You can see overnight, heading on into the day Friday, we are actually going to see the storm eclipse 160, 165 mile per hour winds. And we're going to take a look and see where this monster of a storm is headed. Yeah, this thing strengthened a lot quicker than everybody thought. And look at, as it continues to go in time here, the European model is taking this in the general direction, it looks like, of parts of New England. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So here is Hurricane Lee on satellite with respect to the islands and the U.S. East Coast. Look at this system. This is quite ominous. If you're watching from the Leeward Islands, this, my friends, looks very, very ominous. Look at this. A perfect eye wall structure. It doesn't get more perfect than that. I mean, this thing's going to become a 5 very shortly, going up from a 1 to a 4 so quickly. Look at this thing. If we zoom right in on it here, this is intense. Look at that. That is a perfect eye wall there. And as we go from a side view, you can see the highest cloud tops wrapping perfectly around this system, making this a perfectly symmetrical system at this point. So, yeah, this system has a lot going for it, and it's going to pass just north of the Leeward Islands. That's an ominous view. So here we go with the European model, and we'll take a look at the GFS momentarily. But here is our storm. This is a pretty intense storm, tightly wrapped up here. You can see it's going to pass just north of the Leeward Islands here during the day on Saturday. So starting Saturday at about 5 p.m. here, it's going to start to come in line with the Leeward Islands here. So that's going to continue towards the northwest here. Our track taking it, just to the north. There is going to be some outer feeder bands and definitely some extreme wave action. So be very careful here. This storm is a monster. Going to continue to grow in size here. Take a look at this. We'll take a look at the size of it here. That is a pretty big storm if you take a look at that. Here over here we got Margot. Yeah, could this actually affect the track here of Lee? So let's continue to go in time here. We'll take our side cross section and let's take a look as we go towards the 12th into the 13th here. We do start to see a few factors that could be affecting this system. We have that trough along the East Coast. Where is our high pressure? Well, it's actually up here. So keep an eye on that high pressure system as we continue to go in time here. You can see some showers and thunderstorms here across the Western Caribbean as well. Intertropical convergence zone lining up behind this storm as well. So as we continue here, let's see how close this thing comes to the U.S. East Coast and New England. So here's the European model for the 14th. Here is Bermuda, Hamilton, Bermuda. He says this is on the September 14th here at 8 a.m. So look how close. It's going to be really close for you in Bermuda. Now look how ominous this is. This is what I was a little bit worried about here. The positioning of this high pressure system right over Newfoundland here at Nova Scotia. Look what it's starting to do. It's starting to block this exit that it would have normally had to the northeast. We have that trough, but as you can see, it's lifting out towards the northeast. What does this mean for Lee? Well, the problem is here, Lee has no place to go but due north here on the European model. It is sandwiched at this point between a trough drawing it up to the north here on the 15th at 2 p.m. and two high pressure systems, one to the west, one to the northeast. So you can see where it's going to head here. It's literally coming up like this. Eastern New England. This is what I was a little bit afraid of here. We still have plenty of time to watch this, but I am very concerned because the European model has come in quicker and targeting Eastern New England. But watch this unfold here. There's the 15th at 8 p.m. So this is going to put Nova Scotia, if this track holds true, on the east side. So I'm very worried for you as well. One thing to note, yes, this thing will be weakening. It's not going to be a Category 5. It's going to weaken down to like a 2 or a 1. But it could be becoming extra tropical by then as well. So it'll take on like a nor'easter type component as well. So subtropical, hurricane Category 1/2 One thing to note, though, is how large it is. And that's the concern because it's still going to contain surge and waves of that of a major hurricane, especially with how big it is here. Now, look at how it starts to move up on the 16th at 2 a.m. You see the center of circulation here? Take a look at that. That is a bit concerning. Showing up as 970 millibars here on the European model. Now, could this come ashore if this holds true? This is the 16th at 2 a.m. Here it is. So the center moves just east of Cape Cod. So the western central circle here, or eye wall, whatever you want to call it by then, 972 millibars. This is a big area of low pressure by this point. So this is going to bring tremendous rains, wind, beach erosion, coastal flooding, all sorts of stuff. Could this make landfall in eastern Maine? Well, look at it over here into parts of Nova Scotia as well. You're going to be on the eastern component, so there's going to be, there'll be surge and waves moving up on the east side of this, well east of it as well. So this is of major concern as we continue to go through the 16th. And look at this. Let's take a look at where the landfall point would be. Eastern Maine, there it is. So keep an eye on this. I'm deeply concerned for eastern New England, Nova Scotia, parts of southeast Canada. And as you can see, this thing really starts to accelerate as we get through the 17th and into the 18th there. So let's take a look at the GFS here. Let's see how close it is to the European model. You can already start to see that the GFS is just a tad bit to the north, whereas European has more target guidance here. So let's take a look from an above view here. Let's get a timestamp. This is on the 8th, so we're heading into Friday here. You can see how the system's going to just wind up into a Cat 5 by this point. And look at that, just a donut hole to behold here. Look at that, heading towards the north of guidance. So what's this set us up for? It's interesting that this is actually heading north of guidance because the high pressure is actually a little bit further to the south on the GFS than it is on the European model. So that's a bit curious, but it might not be so curious because we have, by this point, Hurricane Margot on the backside of Lee here that might be pulling the system towards the northeast. Not to say it is, but the close proximity, in the southwest side of Margot here could actually be helping the component to pull it a little bit farther towards the north. Now let's see what the positioning of this East Coast trough and high pressure system brings here as we go in time. So the GFS taking this a bit further to the north in the Leeward Islands safely. I don't want to say safely because you're still going to have tremendous wave action and beach erosion. But look there are some outer bands here that we're going to have to keep an eye on still. This is a very large system, so this is something we need to keep a very close eye on. But the good news is the worst of it is going to pass north of the islands here. Now, you start to notice something here. The storm, it seems like this model is picking up on some wobbles because it starts to wobble a bit towards the southwest by this point. If we can zoom in enough here, you can see there is this center 966 millibars. Might even be a bit lower than that. But let's take a look as we go out in time here. This thing, like by this point, will have weakened to a 4, but is that really weaker? By a little bit. But then it starts to turn north as this high-pressure system. This is about in the same location as the European model. Look at this. It's actually further to the northeast. Now, here's that big trough kicking across the east here. It looks the same as it did on the European model. So things are starting to line up here. And look at this. Just passing west of Bermuda. Yes, this would be tremendous wave action here, but the worst of the winds would be west of Bermuda with this as well as the European model. So let's just zoom out a bit. Look what starts to happen here. The storm starts to accelerate, and the GFS is still consistently further east than the European because the European brings it up just like this, whereas the GFS is right in the general direction of Nova Scotia. So that's what I'm a bit concerned about with Nova Scotia. Either way you cut it here, you are essentially getting this storm to affect Nova Scotia. So look at that as we head towards the 16th into pretty much the 16th. This makes it landfall in eastern Nova Scotia. This would be a tremendous hit to them. So stay tuned. We're going to see how this plays out with the modeling. But we're really honing in on a solution here, basically from eastern New England up to Nova Scotia and the state of Maine, kind of smack dab right in the middle of all this. So this is going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. GFS by the 16th is just lining up system after system after system coming off the coast of Africa. So we are not done by any stretch of the imagination. So our hurricane intensity scale forecast here, look how many days here where it's going to be a Category 5. Yeah, that's at least 3 days there. That is insane. Category 4, at least another 3 or 4 days until we get to a Category 3 once it heads northwest of Bermuda. All right, so thanks to Tropical Tidbits here for our mid-layer dry air analysis here. There is Lee and Margot. So as we head towards September 10th and 11th, look at that. So yeah, even the modeling here is not taking the millibars down to what it needs to be because this storm has intensified so rapidly. So these millibars might be much lower than are indicated. So as we head throughout the rest of your 12th, the 13th, there it is, 959, 960 millibars. It will be weakening as it heads towards the north. Dry air, yeah, we'll be following the system. You can see the trough behind it along the east coast. Dry air as well. Margot energizing over here, but it's looking less likely that the storm will pull Lee further to the east here. And as you can see, high pressure retreating up here on the European model. This is the trough drawing essentially Lee upward here. There is that trough along the east coast with high pressure building in behind it. So that trough bringing it up to the north, dry air feeding in behind it, but not really wrapping around the center. So this is of concern. Look at that, 964 millibars just east of Boston, right over Cape Cod. That is going to be a pretty powerful storm for this far north. So that just continues to go up into the Canadian Maritimes by the 17th here. All right, so taking a look at the rest of the tropics here, we'll take a look at the Caribbean. The Gulf is clear as a bell. There's not much to talk about up there. So as we continue in time, you can see showers and thunder showers with these tropical waves across Jamaica, the Cayman Islands. As we continue to head into next week, September 11th, September 12th, there's Lee. Look at this. We have some sinking air across the Caribbean by this point, but showers and thunderstorms continuing, especially the afternoon, evening hours. You see this tropical wave moving through Jamaica, the Cayman Islands by the 14th here. So we'll watch out for some gully washers here, some showers, thunderstorm activity, and that will just continue throughout next week. You see into next weekend a bigger plume of showers and thunderstorms heading into the central and western Caribbean here. So our Caribbean rainfall amounts here, let's take a look. So we get some rain piling on Thursday night into Friday here across Jamaica, the Cayman Islands. We'll get about, anywhere from 40 to 50 millimeters here. That's going to translate to about 1.5 inches on average here. Look at most of it falling across Cuba, though. As we continue to go in time, take a look at this. So, yeah, we're just going to add on it next week. We're getting upwards of 50, 60 millimeters in some areas here in Jamaica, getting upward close to 2 inches. So yeah, we'll have some showers and thunder showers each day as we get some moisture that travels out of the east. The big totals, though, are going to be across Central and Latin America. So getting over towards the Eastern Caribbean, the big story is going to be Lee, European model taking most of the heavy rain towards the northeast. You will get outer bands, though, in the Leeward Islands. Look at this. This is anywhere from 40, maybe as much as 60 millimeters. We're looking at 1.5 inches, 2 inches, plus locally higher. All right, so I wanted to take you to the Western Pacific here. Take a look at this. This is Tropical Storm Yunyoung here. This storm is continuing to move towards the north, making landfall just west of Tokyo, Japan here, bringing with it lots of heavy rain. It is a very minimal tropical storm, so this storm's not expected to cause any major problems, although there could be some flash flooding. Lots of heavy rain as well. That's going to move inland. It will cool you off a bit, though. You've been so hot as of late in Japan. The great news is there's nothing else to talk about in the tropics as we head across the Western Pacific here. Look at the Philippines, though, as we head towards the middle part of the month here. We're going to be looking at some heavy rains that's going to be moving in after the 11th here. You can see heavy rains moving in the 13th, the 14th, and look at that, towards the 15th. Heavy rains continuing here across the Philippines. So severe weather problems for Friday. This is my big concern here. Parts of the Northeast and then eastern Texas, western Louisiana, all of eastern Texas for that matter. Northeast Texas. Here we go for the Northeast. Moving a little bit further east of where it was, although some of the same areas getting hit late afternoon, evening hours. Damaging wind, large hail, isolated tornadoes, isolated flash flooding, tremendous lightning output for Friday afternoon and evening. And here across the Gulf Coast area, Dallas, all the way up to Dallas. Yeah, these areas, damaging wind, large hail, isolated tornadoes as well. All right, so our HRRR future radar taking a look at any severe weather left in the Northeast. Yeah, we'll still be seeing impacts from that horrible severe weather outbreak you saw in the Susquehanna River Valley of Pennsylvania, New York. Had it stretching towards the Hudson Valley, eastern Catskills, Poconos, and eventually towards western New England. That's going to be getting to places like Vermont and New Hampshire here, eastern upstate New York as well. Damaging wind, large hail, the main threat, maybe an isolated tornado, but that threat will be waning overnight here. You can see we're starting to clear things out, which is great news. We do have a mesoscale convective complex here in north central Florida and southern Georgia there. We're going to have to keep an eye on that overnight, but as we head throughout the day, here's the morning, 9 a.m., 1 p.m. on Friday. So we have a few areas we're going to need to watch here. It looks like there's some firing of storms that may occur over here into parts of Ohio. We're also looking into parts of the Northeast here and the St. Lawrence River Valley. Let's take a look as we continue to go in time here. Watch this. Look at the explosion of showers and thunderstorms on the east side of this trough. We're going to do it all over again tomorrow in the Susquehanna River Valley. Damaging wind, large hail, main threat, also some flash flooding potential. And look at over here into parts of New Jersey, over into the southern Hudson Valley, over into Massachusetts and Concord, New Hampshire. We could be looking at damaging wind, large hail, isolated tornadoes. Now watch as this continues to unfold as we continue to go in time here. Look at this. Yeah, we could be looking, this is 6 p.m., so thunderstorms with damaging wind, large hail converging on just east of the I-81 corridor here, eastern Catskills, Poconos, Hudson Valley, another batch here just west of Boston. That's going to continue to move east as we head throughout the evening hours. So a very stormy start to your weekend. Capital District in New York, just west of Poughkeepsie, all the way down to New Jersey here, and just south of Harrisburg, north of Baltimore. We could be looking at some damaging wind, large hail, converging on southeastern Pennsylvania as we head towards 10 p.m., 11 p.m. Look at this. Some of these, I'm concerned as we get into New Jersey, Long Island, parts of Delaware here. These areas could be looking at lots of widespread wind damage, hail potential, and look at that. That just converges throughout the night. It's going to be a nocturnal event. Look at Long Island over there. Yeah, you're just going to get pummeled here as we head into Friday evening, into Friday night. That thankfully moves off the coast. As we head into Saturday morning, will we see oh, look what's going on. Florida, if we back it up here, look at that. We got some showers and thunderstorms across Florida as we head through Friday afternoon as well. But those thankfully fall apart as we head throughout the morning hours of Saturday. Now, what is going on over here in Texas? Yeah, we have another mesoscale convective complex by Friday. This is Friday night into early Saturday morning here, the 9th. So look what's going on here. Let's take a look. This could be a big event. Widespread wind damage, hail. This is over towards Linden, Tyler, Texas, just east of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I don't want to write you completely off in Dallas because these could be positioned just slightly west, but look at that. That just continues to dive south, 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. So you might have a very really noisy night here across northeast Texas and eventually stretching down towards the Gulf Coast as we head throughout Saturday. I have plenty more weather here. Stay tuned for the rest of my video, but I have a quick announcement here from my affiliate. Take a look at this. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning digital professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code MediaMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. So taking a look at Robert Stone here last night from Dunkirk area. Look at those flashes of lightning occurring. And as you can see, these storms were progressing towards his area. Lots of lightning to behold here, lightening up the night sky here. And he did have some rain moving into the area. This has been the story across much. Look at that, flashing across the sky. And there it is, you can see here in the street light, the rain coming down. Nice captures there, Robert, from the Dunkirk, New York area, right off Lake Erie. So for the U.S. and Canada here, let's take a look at the rest of your European forecast here, European model forecast, I should say. Take a look at this. So yeah, as we head towards the 12th, so September 11th and 12th, we're looking at a lot quieter weather pattern setting up across eastern North America from Canada, where the high pressure set up, all the way across the U.S. East coast here. Now, we do got some showers and thunderstorms here across the southern plains. Some could be severe. We got a parade of low pressure systems heading in to western Canada to here. So let's take a look and see how this unfolds, how this plays. As we get into next week, we do got an area of low pressure, a weak area of low pressure across the eastern Great Lakes that could bring southern Ontario and Quebec some rainfall as well as the U.S. East Coast. So that's going to bring lots of heavy rain. It could get into southeast Canada as well. The northeast, the Ohio Valley, we're going to be socked in with heavy rain and thunderstorms. I hate to say it, but this is just going to add insult to injury if we have Lee make landfall come the following weekend. Look at this. This is towards the 14th. We have Lee just off the corner of your screen. This trough really starting to dig in. That high pressure just blocking to the northeast. This is really bad news. Now, we've got another area of low pressure here across north central Canada. That's going to be heading southeastward here. You can see some showers and thunderstorms. Some of these could be strong to severe, but the big story is going to be across southeast Canada and the northeastern United States here. Now, let's take a look as we continue to go in time. We see those heavy rains just hanging out across New England. Now, you can see as we go to the 15th into the 16th, those heavy rains associated with what Hurricane Lee becoming possibly extratropical by this point, moving up into parts of eastern New England. We're going to get into rainfall amounts here just momentarily. So rainfall totals mainly across the east here. Look at this. We're just piling it up from Friday, Saturday into Sunday into the northeast parts of the Carolinas. Yeah, I am deeply worried here. Look at this. So this is through Wednesday the 13th of September. Look what starts to happen. This is well in advance of Lee. This is a bit very troubling. I'm going to keep an eye on this. We're not going to literally just say we're going to have massive widespread flooding across the Northeast, but I'm very concerned here. Let's actually zoom in on this. So as we get into the problems here. So yeah, the Ohio Valley looks pretty nice. Look at that. As we head throughout the weekend, you're getting less. Most of that falling Friday evening, about a tenth to a quarter inch near Cleveland. But look at, if you're anywhere east of Cleveland or Erie or Buffalo, look at this. Yeah, this is your weekend totals. We're just going to rack this up. It's going to, we're going to start off with a bad situation here. I don't think we'll get much flooding out of this, maybe some isolated areas of flash flooding. But what comes behind it here Tuesday into Wednesday is just going to re-energize this moisture plume. Look what's happening. Binghamton to Syracuse, Scranton, Harrisburg on eastward. We could be seeing totals in the 4 to 5 inch range, locally higher to 6. So that's just the stage. Look at parts of New England as well, 4 to 6 inches. So as we just bring Lee in, look at this. This is going to be a problem over here. Now, if this does end up being further west, we would add on top this as well. But right now, as it stands, I'm getting very concerned here for New England for widespread 6 to 12 inch plus amounts here. So taking a look at what is going on here with the heat. Yeah, it's breaking pretty much across the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes. Look at that, 60s in Michigan, 70s in Ohio and western New York. For your Friday, so yeah, we got some heat streaming up into the big cities of the north. Look at poor Texas here, mid to upper 100s. That's crazy. So as we head into Saturday here, Florida, your typical 90s. Look at here across parts of the Ohio Valley, northeast parts 70s again. As we head into Sunday, look at this. We just reinforced the cooler air across parts of the northeast, even lower 80s here along the coast. That's nice. We're getting rid of some of these triple digits in Texas. And look at this. We're kind of moderating things as we head through Monday as well. Look at this. You start to see some fall-like weather, lower to mid-60s here across northern Wisconsin and UP of Michigan. Look at that. Look at 71 in Rochester, New York, 73 in Cleveland. Wow, you can tell fall is just around the corner here as we head into Tuesday the 12th. Look at this. Yeah, those are 60s and 70s making their all the way down into parts of Tennessee. Look at Texas. Ooh, that is nice. Wow, that is crazy nice. Florida still sweltering here, mid 90s. And look at this as we continue to go in time. Texas, there is much relief. 86 is going to feel cool for you there in Dallas-Fort Worth. Look at these 60s. Even in Erie, Pennsylvania. Cleveland, 67. This is by the middle of next week. Extended all out from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna River Valley, New York and Pennsylvania. Look at this. As we head through Friday, showers and thunderstorm potential throughout the day. Yeah, especially during the afternoon hours. There's anywhere from a 30 to a 50% chance. It will be cooler right around 80 into Saturday. Showers and thunderstorms scattered about. It will be mostly cloudy, only into the low to mid 70s. So, yeah, Sunday, we get some showers and some thunderstorms scattered about as well, another 50% chance. So, yeah, we'll see about a quarter to a half an inch potential each day, and some of those gully washers locally higher. Look at this, Monday into Tuesday as well. We just continue with this very stormy weather pattern and much cooler temperatures. As always, thanks for joining me for this edition of Media Mark's Weather. Take a look at my Facebook page at Media Mark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern to follow the tropics. And if you want to hop over to my Twitter page, it's at Weather Eastern. It's MediaMark.com. Thanks for joining me. Question or comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification button so you're alerted when a video comes out.